Hi, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video, we'll be looking at a pretty cool social experiment. It's done by a TikToker named Nikaylee, and she's doing what most people would call God's work. But first, hi, I'm Alicia, i.e. Alicia J, the walking, talking baby doll, and hopefully I'm here to give you a good day or a better day, okay? Okay. So while watching this, please comment anything that sticks out to you in this video. Thanks. And leave your comments, thoughts, and opinions down below. Of course, we know when women ask for anything, the claws come out because we're treated like second citizens, you know. But let's see what happens in today's video.
I don't really have any resources to do that right now. The account where I have to give to community members. No, we don't help with formula at all. Have you talked to anybody like at CCC?
Yeah, I've been calling everywhere all day.
Oh, okay. We are a small church, and as a result, we have limited funds, and so we tend to help those that are part of the church or come to the church. We're going to be there.
Because there's people that are right around you, local.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Okay. Bye. We really don't have an estimated time just because we do receive a lot of requests here. Each applicant is different. It can take a couple of days. It can take a couple of weeks. We really just don't have a time frame there.
Okay. You said it would take a couple of days to weeks?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah, if approved.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
But we don't have formula or anything like that.
Okay.
I'm really sorry. That's all we have right now.
I haven't ate all day, and I don't know what else to do.
I'm not sure because we don't have cash here, and I'm not in control of finances.
Okay, well, unfortunately, that's our on our list, so.
Okay, all right, well, thank you.
Yep, have a good one.
All right, you too. Calling other churches.
Yeah, I wish I had something for you, ma'am. I'm very sorry.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome. Have a good day.
You too.
Okay. Well, and we don't have anything either, so I'm sorry. I wish I had something to offer you. Is there any?
Out since last night, so I don't know what else to do.
I'm so sorry. We don't have any here.
And y'all could get, and I could just pick it up.
No.
I don't. Not that I know of. No, sorry.
Okay. Okay. Well, they just sent me back and forth to people, and then sent me to a voicemail. And get just a can of formula for her, because I mean she's been going without all night and all day, and I don't know what else to do or who to go to.
Understand, but the only food items that we have in the food pantry are non-perishables, but I don't believe they have anything there for infants.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Can I?
What you mean a baby formula?
Yeah, I have a.
You want somebody to give you some money or something?
No, I just need the formula. I have a 2-month-old, and she ran out last night, so she's went all night and all day without formula.
Yeah, we don't have any formula here for that baby. No, we have a kitchen, but we don't have milk.
Okay. Is there any way y'all could just get a can and I could pick it up?
No, I don't know that we don't have time to do that because we don't.
They might be able to assist. They have more resources than we do.
Okay.
Let me get in touch with the ladies at the way station and see. They might.
All day without anything to eat.
We don't have any formula around, darling. I'm sorry. None. No diapers, anything for babies. We don't have any.
Could that be something you all could get and I could just pick it up?
No, we can't right now. I'm sorry.
Okay. All right. All right. To help with baby formula at all?
We unfortunately are not. We have a benevolent.
Yeah, we're included in that, not because we want to be, but we've been struggling with a whole bunch of things since the Obama-Biden regime took over. I'm trying to think, have you called the company a little deal called Catholic Charities?
Yeah.
Did they have any?
Well, we have 4 here. So, which one of our campuses do you go to? Do you attend one of our campuses?
I don't attend. No, I'm just local.
Okay. Yeah. I'm just trying to. Did you try Mercy's Gate?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't have any way to help you with that. I'm so sorry.
Okay. Do you have a moment? Sorry, just 1 second. Yeah, try like somebody can answer. So I didn't know if you could just let me know if it's something that y'all could do.
I'm not aware of any programs that we have like that.
They go to church and they won't even help somebody. That's so sad.
So how much do you need? I need to know about that.
I'm not sure. I think I usually have. I think it's maybe $17 at Walmart. I mean, if y'all could just get the formula, I could pick it up or have somebody come get it.
Well, I'm an officer right now for myself, and I'll see if I can get somebody to do this.
Okay.
We can do this. I'll just see. Tell me what it is called in case I have to go get it because I'm a great grandfather. I used to pick up formula. Okay. What's it called?
Good start.
Good start.
Sir. Sir.
It's for infants.
Yes, sir.
Infants formulas, any flavor, anything to it, or just?
No, sir. Hey, can I?
How much does the formula usually cost?
Just like $20 is like the small one.
Okay. Do you know where we're located?
No, I don't. Okay, can I pause you really quick?
I'm
They could help before I come out there.
Just come. If they don't have baby food, I'll give you $10 from my pocket, and you'll buy some.
Okay, that's so sweet. Okay, actually, this is actually a social experiment to baby formula.
We can, ma'am. Where do you live? Do you live in Charlotte?
Yes, I'm like 10 minutes from you all.
Okay. And what kind of formula are you using?
It's the Good Start.
Good Start. Yeah, that's fine, ma'am. If you come over here, we'll help you.
Okay, hold on just.
If I give you something, you can purchase it. You can go to a grocery store.
Okay, hold on just 1 second. I gotta turn my baby off. Okay, so this is actually a social experiment that I'm doing to test.
Mind you, the baby is dying. I just Googled it. 3-month-old babies need to feed every 4 to 6 hours. So not only is the baby crying in the background of the phone, it's in the background of these phone calls with these churches. The story is that it hasn't eaten since last night. They ran out of formula last night. The baby is dying on the background of the phone, and the churches cannot be bothered to help.
Christians and churches are responding after a woman went viral for calling churches asking for baby formula for her starving baby, and most of them turned her down. And what some of them are saying is absolutely wild. One church said what that woman is doing is evil and even compared it to witchcraft. He said this woman is a liar, she is indulging in trickery, she has the spirit of a witch, and if she comes near our church, she will be dealt with swiftly. This church, who also turned her down over the phone, said if a mother in need was at the doors of our church, raise your hand if you would help her. And when a majority of the people raised their hands, he said that's the only social experiment that I need. And this pastor of another church who also turned her down said that we are not obligated to help in a situation like this, and the only reason the mosque did is because they're obligated to by their faith. He said they get hundreds of scam calls and people wanting money, and they can't prove that she's actually in need. Let me know what you guys think about this whole situation, and as always, I'll keep you guys updated.
I'm a member of one of those churches that's going viral right now on TikTok, and I'm not going anywhere. Let's talk about it. Many would expect me to get on this platform and defend Living Faith Christian Center for its actions, especially because I am a member of that church. But I don't want to do that.
He then proceeds to defend his church for their actions. If y'all don't know, there's this creator, her name is Natalie, I believe. I'm going to tag her below, but she is testing churches to see if they will help feed her starving baby for just baby formula. She's not even asking for money. She's asking them for baby formula. And his church is one of the churches that said no, didn't give her any resources, and proceeded to hang up the phone without any answers. I actually seen Natalie's videos since the first day she started posting these, and this is why I love being just a low-key creator, because I get to see trends like this start up, and it is just beautiful how it ended up. And see, I never wanted to do a video about Natalie and what she's doing. It's because of this exact thing right here. It's because people that go to these churches, the pastors that are over these churches, if they see her videos and anybody else calls, they're just going to say yes, just perform. They're not actually doing it because they genuinely believe that they should be helping people out as Jesus taught us. But everybody is making videos on her now, and again, chef kiss. I love being able to see this from the beginning. Now going back to my original problem. The problem is that people of the churches are now seeing her videos and they're getting online and trying to defend their church. This guy goes and says, well, not everybody is a representation of the church. The church is just a building, which is true. But the person answering the church's phone calls is a representation of your church. That is the person that y'all delegated to answer the phone calls for anybody who calls the church. So why wouldn't that be a perfect representation of your church? That is the first person that most people are going to see when they're trying to find out information about your church. So the fact that this person had the audacity to turn somebody down without offering them resources tells me a couple of things. Either y'all not teaching Jesus correctly in your church, or your pastor is telling your members that y'all can't help people, which goes back to the social experiment. People give tithes and offering for your church to help out the community and help out anybody in need. Jesus taught us that we should help out everybody in need, and your church failed. And you felt the need to get on this app and explain it to us. We don't need your explanation. We already seen the social experiment. You need to go to your church and explain to them that what they did is not a good representation of Jesus. And Natalie, what you're doing is the Lord's work right now. But unfortunately, my suspicions are correct. These churches are going to start seeing your social experiment because it's really popular now. And because they're more aware of this social experiment, I feel like their answers aren't going to be genuine. They're just going to be answering so they don't receive any backlash. But let me know what you guys think. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.
So the young lady here on TikTok who has been doing this social experiment, calling churches, like pretending like she has a hungry baby and asking for baby formula, has not only been doing a great job, but she's really had me thinking about my personal relationship growing up in the church as it relates to like community work and stuff, because the outpour, the angry outpour from people saying like it's not the church's responsibility to take care of the community is so foreign to me. That concept is so foreign to me. I had a very positive experience growing up in the church, and I know a lot of people didn't. But for me, like something like this, like the idea of a woman needing one like single can of baby formula is so like basic to me, because like I grew up in a church where it wasn't about having like, I didn't grow up in some mega church, right? I went to a regular Baptist church on Long Island. It was right down the street from my house. My mom went there, my uncle went there, my family went there for a few generations, like, and it was just like the idea of all these people being mad or saying that she's exposing the church in a negative way, or she's trying to like exploit the church to get views and blah 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 blah, blah and get clout. It's just so stupid to me. Just off of the top of my head, my church had so many like social programs. So first things first, we had a before school program and an after school program, and I did both of those programs when I was younger. We also had a senior citizens breakfast program. We also had a regular like food pantry program where anyone could come and sign up and get a hot meal, or also get food to take home to cook for themselves, right? Then on top of that, we also had the summer camp. Now you had to pay for the summer camp, but our summer camp was way cheaper than your average summer camp, and the price you would pay would also include things like field trips and weekly trips to like the local pool, which is amazing. And then on top of that, the more kids you had going to summer camp, the cheaper it was for each child. So for like each child, they would knock off like $100. And then on top of that, we also had scholarships. So for instance, if you were a senior graduating from high school, you could apply for a scholarship. And because we had a church where we had always had kids in church, but it wasn't like we were in like a mega church, it wasn't like the odds of you not getting a scholarship were very, very, very slim. Like, no, you were most likely going to get one of the scholarships. My church wasn't the type of church where if like a homeless person walked in like randomly during the middle of like service, they were going to treat them weird. They would just seat them like anyone else and treat them with love and respect like anyone else, and most likely would feed them if they needed to be fed. And it's so funny because my church just had a kitchen where, even if this wasn't even necessarily like part of a program, but we just had a kitchen where before like certain programs or after certain programs, for instance, if we went to Sunday school, after Sunday school, we would just go and make ourselves a bagel or have coffee, because that's just what my church did. They fed the community. I went to the type of church where you could put a penny or a quarter in the offering basket and it was still like as valid as someone who wrote a check for $100. And when my church needed stuff, it was never like, oh, we need to get a private jet and we need to get all this like production stuff for our new Christmas play. Like, no, it was like, okay, we're trying to get new pews. So if everyone can give $1, that would be awesome. And the holidays are coming, and I'm thinking about this. We have a program, I don't remember the exact name, but we would have a program every single year before Christmas where we would invite the local community. Anyone could come, and we would have like, songs and games, and Santa would come. You can go take pictures with Santa, but you would also sign up for each family, and you would put how many kids you have, and they would give you like an individual like basket or bag of presents to give to your kids. Either right then and there, or for Christmas if you couldn't afford to buy your kids gifts yourself. And let me tell y'all something, when I got old enough, I started working for that program. They was giving out some really good gifts. I'm talking about like Calvin Klein cologne for 13-year-old boys type gifts. Because the idea of taking care of your community is of God. And so the idea of this woman is somehow doing something wrong because she's doing a social experiment, asking churches if they can donate 1 can of baby formula, is wild to me. Because yes, that is what church should be doing, and that's what communities should be doing in general. Women or any parent shouldn't have to worry about getting baby formula for their kids, because we should be able to take care of these babies. That's what we should be doing as a village.
I'm calling churches in Omaha, Nebraska to see if they're willing to feed a starving infant. And today I'm starting with Lifegate Church. This is my very first call, and so I missed recording the very beginning. But the lady at Lifegate then called me back, and this is what she said.
Hello? Hi, is this Kim?
This is Kim.
Kim, this is Brenda with Lifegate. I found a place that has formula. Do you have a pen?
Yes, I do.
Okay, I want you to call this number, 402.
One second.
Yep.
Okay, go ahead.
402-713.
Okay.
He's expecting your call. I said I'll have Kim call you right back, okay?
Okay.
Call this number, please.
Okay, and where's this?
This one's off 40th and Benton.
Okay.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome, honey.
All right, bye.
Bye-bye. Hey, how can I help you?
Hi, my name is Kim. I just spoke to a lady at a church, and she told me to give you a call.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were looking for formula, correct?
Yes.
So we don't normally have it. We do have some. Let me run back over there.
What church are you with? I'm sorry.
So we're not a church. We are a Christian nonprofit.
Okay.
It's a brighter day. We provide free diapers and wipes to pregnant mothers and families with children that are 12 months old.
Okay.
So I have a few cans of the Similac Total Comfort. I have Infamil Simply Plant-Based. I have Good Start Gentle Pro, and then I have like one of the bottles of the Ready Feed Similac, the blue one.
Okay. Well, that'll work. Thank you so much.
Do you have a baby? I mean, like under 12?
Yeah, so actually, before we go any further, I just want to tell you that this was just a social experiment just to test the churches in Omaha to see if they'd be willing to help. And obviously they are willing to help, or this one church that I called was willing to help. And I will be posting this to social media. And I just want to say, is it okay if I mention that it's a brighter day and just what happened?
Can I put you on hold just for a moment?
Sure. Good morning. My name is Kim. I was just doing a social experiment. I called a local church this morning to see if they'd be willing to help, and they sent me over to your company. There's been so many churches or so many organizations that are just unwilling to help. And so I wanted to uplift your name and your company if that was something that you're interested in, and hopefully get some more donations to your area if that's something that you would like.
Yes. Oh my goodness, yes. Yeah, we pretty much take about anything baby related.
Okay.
We do get donations on formula from clients with baby aged out, or some people are like, oh, my baby couldn't take this, like this is what I have.
Okay.
We have a couple people who are nurses and bring formula from their job.
Okay.
That they can use. Like I said, anything baby related. The only thing we don't take are car seats for the safety of the babies.
That makes sense.
But mostly everything else, like cribs, bouncers, playpens, clothes, anything from preemie up until the age of 12 or 18 months.
Okay.
We also take women's clothes, older kids' clothes, because sometimes families have older kids that need help. So anything is a blessing.
Okay. So make sure you're following along, because you may be surprised who actually helps, who refuses, and who I get no answers from.
So if you go to any one of the churches that refused to help that lady feed her baby, please tell me how church service was today. I'm sure it was a little tense. By now, everybody knows and has clocked their tea. I went to one of those. They personally would not be getting any more of my tithes and offerings until I could see what they were doing with them. Because if you're not giving back to the community, if you're not going to act as a charity, why are you tax exempt? Meanwhile, I'm trying to calculate and figure out how I got a raise at work and my check is less. But y'all tax exempt and don't give back. Make it make sense.
At this point, I'm pretty sure everybody has heard or seen the videos or the reaction videos about the lady who was calling the churches and asking for formula. Pretty much all of them said no, and then she ended up calling one mosque, and they said, I got 2 questions for you. What kind do you need, and when can you pick it up? I would say, subhanAllah, one thing that my father, who was an atheist just like I was, always told me was that religion, not necessarily religion is the problem, but organized religion is the problem. When you have a hierarchy of people who are put in positions of power, and man, you know, this is why Christianity never appealed to me, because you have literal mega churches. And if you remember when I think it was Hurricane Katrina, they closed the doors on the churches and they wouldn't let anybody come in. That is not God, ladies and gentlemen. That is the greed of men. You have pastors, priests, I'm not exactly sure, forgive me for my ignorance about the difference, but you have church fathers, church leaders who literally have mansions and private jets and mega churches, and they're raking in millions of dollars. This is not God, this is not religion, this is not Christianity, this is not the teachings of Jesus. It's absolutely crazy. So when you compare that with Islam, we don't have a hierarchy. We don't have, you know, I have many friends who are imams, scholars, and they're barely making ends meet because the community, for some reason, thinks that they shouldn't have to pay them very much money, even though they work literally 24/7, counseling families, divorces, you name it, they're nonstop. And those people, they work incredibly hard and deserve a whole lot more than we give them, and definitely a lot more appreciation. But back to the formula, this is a basic teaching of Islam. When someone asks you for help, You don't ask them. You don't say, well, you know what? No, I can't give it to you. You might be a scammer. When Mike Tyson was in Vancouver back in the 80s, he gave somebody $100, and his friend said to him that, why did you give him that money? He's probably just going to go and buy drugs with it. And his response was a classic Muslim response, even though I believe at that time he wasn't a Muslim. I could be wrong. But he said, it's not up to me to judge what he does with the money. He asked for help. I give him the money, and that's it. It's paraphrased poorly, I'm sure. But this is Islam. When someone is in need and someone needs help, you help. You don't ask questions. Why? Because you are rewarded according to your intention. If your intention is to help someone who is asking for money, it doesn't matter what they do with the money. It doesn't matter if it's real. It doesn't matter if it's a scam. Your reward is with Allah, God Almighty, and that is why you see such generosity from the Muslims, and that's why you see when someone is in a position and they phone a mosque and they ask for help, the help is there. It always should be there. And if the Muslims aren't helping, the Muslims are not acting in accordance with Islam. Just like the churches, if they're not helping, they are not acting in accordance with Christianity and the teachings of Jesus. So I hope you all have a blessed day.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, but y'all could have came to a strip club and asked us for some baby formula, and we would have gave it to y'all.
Okay, so I felt very compelled to make this video this morning because I don't see the negative comments on TikTok, and it might just be because there's so many messages, like I just haven't ran into one. But I do see them on Facebook, and I've only shared a handful of these videos that I've done on Facebook because I do see the negative comments on there, and there was a lot of people that was upset I was testing these churches. But I woke up to a comment this morning, and it's not the person that's relevant because they have no profile picture and 14 friends, they're irrelevant, but I wanted to highlight what they were trying to do because they're upset I was testing these churches and these churches were failing, and then trying to make me feel bad for being an ex-stripper and for being a lesbian. And they're like, oh, go test the lesbians, go test the strippers. Okay, well, this lesbian stripper has done exactly what I was asking these churches to do. And I, without hesitation, helped somebody in need. And I helped them a couple of years ago when I seen somebody came to me and told me that they needed money. And I'm not the type of person to put out there the good deeds that I do because I feel like it takes away those good deeds, but I feel like I'm okay to say this because she posted it in the comments already before, and so I'm just going to screenshot that and put that here. And then I also want to say that I do help my community a lot, and I've started whole organizations to help my community, and I'm helping my community even with my job because I'm a drug addiction counselor. I'm going to school working my master's to be a clinical mental health counselor, and I donate and I do all these things that I'm supposed to do, and I'm constantly in my community. So even right now, I'm trying to start up sober living houses and transitional houses in my community to help those that are homeless. And it blows my mind that people want to sit here and be like, oh, because you're a stripper, you're less than, because you're gay, you're less than. When you have churches out here thinking that they're holier than thou, preaching the word that you believe in, and they're not walking the walk. And so it's just who's really the bad person in this scenario? Somebody that's faking to be this Christian and they wouldn't feed a starving baby, or the ex-stripper lesbian that would feed a starving baby? You're not helping your case at all by sitting here thinking that I'm less than when I have given. And I was only asking these churches to provide me with a small can of baby formula and telling them that it was going to be $17 to $20. I dropped to $50 without hesitation. Okay? And I just want you all to know, for those that are gay and who are strippers, that does not define you. Who you are on the inside does.
Living Faith Church, the church that wouldn't help the starving babies, Google reviews have gone to hell. They were at 4.7 before the controversy, but now they're sitting at 1.4 and going lower by the minute. It's no wonder they wouldn't help a starving baby because apparently they've had it out for children for a while. Look at this review placed 3 years ago before the controversy. Watch your kids in the children's program because my child came home and told me he and another student were strangled in the back of the neck by an employee, and the Christians over the program tried to cover it up. Whoa. And then 2 years ago, someone said, quote, this evil church abuses children and does not respect the U.S. Constitution. 4 years ago, somebody said too many screens and not enough devotion. And as for the current controversy, apparently a lot of members are furious. One person says, quote, so you mean to tell me with all the money collected from us every Sunday, you couldn't help Erica with something as simple as baby formula or diapers? Yet you all just went on vacation? That's unbelievable. I'm honestly heartbroken and disappointed. I will never set foot in that church again. Absolutely disgusting. You can bet that the church leadership is scrambling to respond to this from Sunday because they're over 5 million views, and you know that they're going to call this an attack from the enemy instead of admitting that they're the enemy themselves. Living faith for your callous faith and refusing to help a crying baby? Jesus made the D3 list by talking about dumb, desperate, and diabolical business decisions. The D3 list talks about these kind of business decisions all the time. Make sure you're subscribing for free at the D3list.substack.com.
And I'll say it because y'all can't fight me. Jesus did not like these church folk. And I love when history repeats itself, because this whole will the church buy baby formula, drama, social experiment, whatever, it ain't nothing that the Bible hasn't already touched on. The Bible said Jesus walked into the temple, saw a whole bunch of looting and scheming. So what did he do? Because y'all be forgetting that Jesus was a G. Right? He flipped over the table where they had their money, flipped over the seats that they were selling from, and said that, for it is written, my house shall be a house of prayer, but you have turned it into a den of thieves. He basically said to them, y'all ain't nothing but some no good, dirty scammers. And think about it. Who was Jesus hanging out with? Jesus was hanging out with the sinners and untouchables of society. Because Jesus knew that there was more humanity in those individuals than the people who claim the moral superiority of being spiritual leaders. But this is the same church that traded Jesus for a violent murderer, the same church that crucified Christ, the same church that will have a suffering congregation tithing to a multi-millionaire pastor, and the same church that couldn't be bothered to feed a hungry baby. Tax the churches. Tax the churches. It's time.
She said, my baby is hungry. And he says,
it's a witch. And my Bible says he do not allow that thing to live.
He quotes Exodus 22:18. Do not allow a witch to live. A woman testified to what happened to her, and the pastor responds with a verse about killing women, framed as pastoral concern, but it's actually a threat. As a self-identified theology witch, let me unveil what the language is doing here. Yes, Exodus 22:18 says that. It's there. A text from a patriarchal society that killed women accused of witchcraft. But you know what Jesus did when religious men wanted to kill a woman accused of sin? He said, let the one without sin cast the first stone. Jesus consistently sided with women the religious authorities claimed to be dangerous, demonic, wrong. He touched them, talked to them, defended them. So when you quote Exodus 22:18 at a woman who asks for baby formula, you are following the religious authorities that Jesus stood against. And the fact that you reached for a verse about killing women in response to a woman asking for help tells me everything you think what a woman's testimony deserves. Death threats. That's your pastoral response to truth-telling. Because here's what witch meant. A woman with power that doesn't come from male authority. A woman who acts without permission. A woman whose testimony cannot be controlled. A woman who refuses to let men mediate her access to truth and her right to speak it. The woman with the hemorrhage who touched Jesus without permission is a woman the religious authorities would have called unclean, dangerous. The Canaanite woman who pushed Jesus to help her daughter would have been called pushy, out of place. Every woman who went directly to Jesus without asking the religious authorities for permission, Jesus sided with them every time. And notice what this pastor does after threatening her life.
I forgive you.
He forgives her. Threaten a woman and then offer forgiveness. By offering forgiveness, he claims the authority to judge her sin in the first place. She didn't ask for forgiveness, she asked for baby formula, but now he gets to play the merciful one, while she is a demonic threat who needs his grace. In biblical tradition, mind you, it's prophets who expose the religious leaders for failing the vulnerable, and the religious establishment always called them some version of demon-possessed and deceived. Prophecy gets called witchcraft by the people it exposes. But here's a weird thing about witches. When you threaten us, we multiply. Every time you call a woman a witch for telling the truth, you create more of us. Every time you quote verses about killing women in response to testimonies about hungry babies, you reveal that your God is not Christ. Your God is a God who kills women for testifying. And it sounds like he's been doing it for thousands of years. So yes, she's a witch, I'm a witch, there are many of us. We are the women who won't be silent about what we saw, what we experienced, what you did. We are the women who will continue exposing your theology, which makes not feeding babies sound like holiness. Just know that Jesus sided with us every time. If you enjoyed this, I welcome you to join my Patreon community, where we will be deconstructing and reconstructing women in the Bible. Come join a group of mystics, rebels, witches to explore, to question, and reclaim the holy ink together.
Baby. So I wanted to give an update on this woman who's doing the social experiment, because I did a video on this, it blew up, and there are a lot of white Christians who are big mad at me. If you don't know this woman, if she's not coming across your feed, her name is Nikaylee. She's doing a social experiment where she's pretending to be a mother of a 2-month-old baby and out of formula, and she's calling churches to be like, hey, can you help? To date, she has called 39 religious institutions. 30 white Christian churches have said no to her. No to helping to feed her baby. But 9 people said yes. And 6 out of the 9 who said yes are either black or brown. And I think that is really telling. Even more telling is 1 out of the 30 who said no was Charlie's own fucking church. Who had a lot to say about black people, a lot to say about Muslim people. And yeah, his own church said no to helping feed a starving baby. And people are really mad at me because I highlighted one of the calls that she did to a mosque. Like, it's not my fault that a Muslim man was amazing and 30 Christian churches sucked. But for the update, I really want to highlight the other people who said yes. She called 3 black churches. They all said yes. She also called a Buddhist temple, and they said yes. 2 of the 9 who said yes were Catholic churches. One was predominantly Latine. But before Catholics get too excited, she did call one Catholic church, and they said no. She also called a really poor Appalachian church, and the sweet old man said yes. So 6 out of 9 people who said yes were black or brown. And I think that says a fucking hell of a lot between white religious people and black and brown religious people. Now, I'm half Indian despite looking like this, and I just know that if Nikaylee were to call a Sikh Gurdwara, they would not just say yes, they would be like, how can we feed you as well? Because if the baby's starving, the mom's starving, as somebody in my comments said. I love this social experiment so fucking. And to Nikaylee, thank you so much for doing this.
So again, I know that a lot of you want to leave negative reviews and, you know, look at religion in a poor light right now. But instead of doing that, I would much rather people start leaving 5-star reviews with suggestions on what can be done to fix it. Because I remember being told all the time growing up, don't bring up a problem unless you can bring 3 solutions. And I'm a big believer that it only takes one person and one voice to make a change. And I've always said that. So I don't want to bring division. I don't want to bring judgment and hate. I want to bring positivity and change. And that's what we need. We don't need more division. Think about it. The churches that said yes to a liberal tattooed lesbian were a MAGA church, a Hispanic church, a black church, a Catholic church, and an Islamic mosque. That should tell you everything. This was to bring us together, not divide us. It's to bring us together. So my message out of all of this experiment is to look at each other kinder, help more people, and forgive and show empathy and compassion. That's what I want you all to do. Don't let this experiment darken you and bring just more chaos and more hurt. You know, like, I don't want these churches to suffer because I don't want the people in those communities to suffer. So that's my message.
I did want to express that with the last video or so. The creator talks about how the reason why she really truly did this experiment, and it wasn't to create more hate and more tension and more negativity and drama. One of the things that got me thinking about this social experiment is how some people say, oh, everything is not politics. Politics does not have to be brought up into everything, but it's very centered in some YT places. And I question if, you know, these groups actually believe in Christ and God, or if they are just using it as a mascot to do nefarious deeds and hoard resources for themselves and just keep forward with negativity and hate for others, but not for them. You know, they can do it, but you cannot do it. It's pure and blessed when they do it, but when you do it, you deserve to go through a prison pipeline kind of thing. So yeah, some people just, they don't want to talk about politics. They want to avoid politics. I can't see that in these times. Everything is politics. Everything that dictates how our life is governed and ran. So you need to get into politics. And while she's choosing to do this in a very politically charged climate, it speaks volumes. She's willing to be more charitable and find resources than those who may already have those resources or have enough money to help people during the holidays and things. Look at what happened with starving people with food because of a shutdown. You get what I'm saying? And so it's so many layers to what she did and what's going on right now politically, and how you have a lot of religious faith based churches that were not willing to do anything or even try to help or even try to put $5 in her hand. Do something, you know, even if you don't have formula, you know, you could have just at least gave her $20 check. I mean, I'm not a mother, never been a mother. Shout out to all the moms, but you guys know how much baby formula costs, and I'm pretty sure it increased since a couple of years ago. I remember stuff was going on with the baby formula, and there wasn't enough baby formula due to the manufacturing problem or something. But I believe it's anywhere between 20, I want to say 20 and $33 a can sometimes. Y'all tell me if I'm wrong in the comments, but the fact that they couldn't even just put $30 $35 in the girl hand and say, hey, can you go get the formula? Do you need gas to go get the formula? That was just kind of interesting. It's very interesting. But the creator's intentions was not to spread more malice and hate, but to draw light into a blind spot, which gave people a lot of just distaste to see this social experiment and all of the rejections that she got, while there's a literal baby that is in the brink of death, from what I'm hearing. If the baby didn't eat all last night, all day, this baby's literally like near death. And the fact that none of them actually heard that baby and was like, you know what, I'll come up with money out of my own pocket. Crazy. Of course, she's called tons of people, so I can't put all of that on here. There was one man that she called. She called the church, and I guess everybody was out of town, and he couldn't get back to the church. He didn't know who he could call to see if they could go back to the church, try to help her. But what ended up happening was he still went out of his way. I think he was driving on the road, like literally like somewhere out of state. He was like, you know what? I'm going to figure something out anyways. And he still was able to pull through and find some resources. And I mean, just some people will go the extra mile and do God's work, but then you have some people who are just hoarding the money, taking people's tithes, and they're driving people further away from the values and morals that are supposed to come from Christ, and come from Christ consciousness and being a good person. I personally don't believe you need religion to be a good person or have values of a good person, but everybody's different, to each their own. And maybe it's a crucial chapter or a transitional point for some people's life to find those resources such as church and religion and faith. And so I'm not knocking it, but I have noticed a hypocrisy in it, and that's just the truth. And we see that a lot with this politically charged notions and certain groups and YT groups that are like playing to know God, be of God, and then they turn around and they do something opposite. And that's been bothering me a lot lately, because that's blasphemy, I believe. That's blasphemous. That would be like an abomination. That's very, very deceitful and mischievous, and that is not of God. That is anything but of God. So, I'm curious about some of the churches in my area. You even got people who were inspired, as you've seen in these videos, people who are inspired. I'm pretty sure some people who don't even use TikTok have gotten onto TikTok, and have gotten on their phones and locally just started calling and seeing, even if they don't have a baby, one thing that I did find like kind of, it's not a big deal, but one thing that I did kind of find like crazy is that some people are so engulfed in helping her with her situation that she she's playing a sound of a baby on her computer, and when the person is going when they're going too far into giving her like all these resources and stuff like that, she'll say, hold on, give me 1 second, let me turn off my baby. And I found it crazy that none of the callers have actually said, wait, what did you say? Like, nobody has caught her on that, but she does say, wait, let me turn off my baby. But she usually does that when someone responds with help of what you would assume comes from any Christian faith-based church, right? So, yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. Please leave your thoughts down below. If I have any more comments, I'll come back and put them in here. But really, that was generally like most of, what I think. And right now, with all the stuff that's going on, it's very important that we are community oriented, that we do have community, that we do have little villages. And you wonder why women don't want to have children, but at the same time, you're trying to say that you're pro have all the children of the land and just keep going foolishly. And it's like, wow, I've heard a lot of videos of mothers saying, like, one of the misconceptions that people lie to you and they tell you is that there's going to be some type of village waiting for you to help you. But in reality, when you have that baby, that's your fucking baby, not the father of the child. It's your baby. And you have all this gaslighting and people just not keeping it real with folks or telling the truth. And that's what I can't stand. Also can't stand being blasphemous and using God's name when you know nothing of it or what it's about. So yeah. Also, I am going to post a video. The last video I don't know how I'm going to do it, but the last video that I posted is about the blackout. Please help with the blackout protests to make sure that us as a community, we still come together and we let these corporations know that actually we don't need you and we don't need to depend on you. And actually it's the other way around. You depend on us, the consumer. You got all of our data for a reason. We don't need none of your data to survive and thrive. You need ours. And if you're going to have ours and try to manipulate and all these things, well, guess what? You might want to consider your politics in this country. And all the things that we have to come is a very hard fight. It's uphill. But guess what? We can get through this. We can pull through this and become a village and not do what I've just shown these mega churches or these churches that seem to have a lot of money, but they can't find it in their heart to help this lady feed her child that is near death, hypothetically, in the social experiment. So yeah, that was it. End of the video. Please tell me your thoughts. What did you like, or maybe you dislike something about this video? Get in the comments, start a little chat, and I'll see you on the next one.